Okay, so this is Victor versus Zoe Mid, Gold 3 average MMR. You said you typed out your student goals as comments, but for the most part, identify mistakes you make that you do not realize on your own. Okay. Comments here. So you came back to League after a long break and feel like you forgot how to play the game. Like you're not thinking about things that you should be, especially during the lane phase, and because of this, you end up dying too frequently. Trying to play Vlad, Cass, and Victor. Okay, a lot of scaling for now. I only really played Victor before. Trying to play jungle as a secondary primary role. Before I took my break, I had to go top secondary. I did not enjoy the matchup slash skill set, so it was always a losing lane if I got put there. I'm relatively new to jungle, so I'm not sure if you offer coaching for other roles as well. Yeah, I can do coaching for other roles. It's definitely going to be very fundamental. So, for example, if we did jungle coaching, I'd teach you stuff like just kind of like being efficient with pathing, like which lanes to play towards and like where you should be on the map and stuff like that. Stuff I definitely can't help you with in jungle is probably champ pool, maybe specific champion mechanics that I don't know, and also jungle matchups. So there would be some stuff missing, and I think if you wanted to have a jungle coach long term, I'm probably not the person for that. But I think, yeah, like 1 or 2 jungle sessions could probably go a long way, and I'd be pretty comfortable doing that. But yeah, I can coach any role. Okay, and then you said you played horribly in lane phase, managed to come back because of poor decisions by enemy Zoe. She decided to keep sitting top around 10 to 60 minutes and got enough time to farm up in gold. Okay, let me get the old notepad up, and this is Victor versus Zoe coaching. Is this the first time I've done this matchup? Yes, it actually is. Victor versus Zoe coaching. It's the first time. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So you said that you end up dying too frequently, and also you said that you play pretty horribly in lane phase. Like, it goes without saying that these things are really problematic, especially if you're playing a scaling champion, because in solo queue, if you're playing a scaling champion, you're kind of going to be useless for the early stage of the game. So you kind of pay that back to your team by carrying later in the game, right? So if you make a lot of mistakes, like if you have a lot of random deaths or if you fall behind in lane, that sets back the clock a lot for you. So yeah, that we're gonna have a big focus on kind of cleaning that up. So, oh, how do we get rid of this again? I always forget. Is there a way to get rid of these? Maybe they go away once I move my mouse off this. Yeah. Okay, so the first thing I'd say is that I don't think Doran's Ring is the play here. Zoe's a champion that is going to trade quite a lot, and normally you want Doran's Ring in matchups where you can be quite aggro. Okay, there's like 3 choices. Actually, I'll write them down. So let's go like rooms slash items. Um, so your 3 choices for start are pretty much 3 starting choices, and those are pretty much tier, ring, and corrupting pot. So basically, tier is the strongest scaling option, and you should take it when you can. You're not going to take any harass, but also you can't really do any harass to your opponent. So like tier is very good versus tanks because you can't really kill tanks anyway. And instead it's just going to help you scale up a little bit faster, and tanks don't have much kill pressure onto you either. Ring is good when you want to you want to punish lane, but you're not going to take much damage back. So examples could be stuff like Corki, where you're just like punishing them, they're not really hitting you back. Silas could be another one if you feel confident to kind of position well and not get hit by his abilities. So that's another one you can do. Corrupting though is for basically like even lanes, even or hard lanes. Essentially just like when you're going to take damage. And Zoe was electrocuting Knight. That is definitely a champ that's going to do damage to you. Other examples would be yeah, I mean, if we're talking mages, it would be like Azir, Syndra, Ori, that sort of stuff. And if there are other assassins, champs I'd be thinking would be more the poke assassins, like Zed, for example. LeBlanc is another one. If it's an all-in assassin that doesn't really poke, like Fizz, you can probably just go ring. But yeah, I think the item start is probably not the best here, and I think it is kind of a problem, honestly. It's gonna make playing the lane a little bit more difficult. Okay, so holding the wave level 1, you weren't thinking about level 1 Zoe. Oh yeah, the little cheese. That's fine in my mind, and I kind of like what you did here anyway. I think like this trade is actually good for you normally, and the reason I think that is because you have TP and Zoe doesn't. So, this 670 health you have at level 1, you can always TP back, and then you have that back to full. So normally an even trade will be kind of good for you, but the reason it's not, or at least it's not as good, is because you have Doran's Ring. So normally with TP, if you have Corrupting Pot, you TP back, and that gives you 3 more Corrupting Pot charges, but now you don't really have that. So you've basically got to trade a lot. smarter than this if you're going to do that, but yeah, I just think I would swap to Corrupting Pot, and that kind of makes that quite a bit easier for you. I also think you probably want to use a potion here, just because like you really don't want to get low HP versus a champ that likes to all in with Ignite. Okay, so the thing I did like about level 1 is that you kind of punished her for the cooldown, right? Like she used her cooldown here, and you immediately went for the Q order, which I think is good, right? But I think, like, so right here, when she doesn't have Q, you know she doesn't have Q for like a few more seconds, so I think you could have ran at her with your Q there and traded onto her. There's another example somewhere here, I think it was. Let's see. Where was it? Okay, so Zoe's down Q again. So you should be... When Zoe has used Q, and especially if she's used Q and the order, that's kind of your... You really want to harass her on the next creep. So pretty much, let's talk about laning phase. The biggest like fundamentals is like one, like harassing when they go to CS, because, you know, when they go to CS, it's a free time to hit them, and if they feel scared, then they're going to give up the creep. But the second one is punishing cooldowns. I'm going to do a video on this pretty soon, but basically it's like whenever Zoe doesn't have Q, she's going to be a lot weaker, right? And if you have a cooldown up, like if you have your Q, she's going to be punishable. So like right here, like Zoe didn't have Q or auto, so you can just like, when she goes for this creep here, you can Q auto her for that. So she should take damage, but what's happening is basically, like, yeah, you're kind of trading into Zoe when she's at her strongest, and because of your kind of like weak setup, just like without having Corrupting Pot, you're just like a lot weaker than you should be. And honestly, the trades are still going kind of decently for you. Like, I think this could be a lane that you're just like really hard winning at the moment. Yeah, once she hits level 2, it's a bit harder to punish the cooldown because you got to think about the E as well. But yeah, I'd say so far you've kind of just, like, so far it's more just a setup thing and the cooldowns. But that's pretty good, so Zoe's forced to flash. Okay. Now, you should be pretty careful here, so let's go all the way back to level 1. Another thing you need to think about is, where did the enemy jungler start? That should be like a habit that you think about at level 1. So if we look here, let's have a look. It looks like top lane leashed. It looks like bot lane was cheesing in the tribush. So normally you can just tell by which lane starts in lane where the enemy jungler started. So this game looks like Rek'Sai started top side, yep, or unleashed. So what that means is that Rek'Sai is going to be, if it's before 2 minutes 30, like around this time, she'll probably gank you from top side. After about 2 minutes 30, so after about this point, Rek'Sai will probably gank you from bot side. And normally it's a good idea to try get a ward down somewhere around this time. So forces a flash, which is good. Here, I think you're kind of playing with fire, honestly. Like, I think the thing is, you can hug topside and you can be reasonably sure the Rek'Sai isn't there. I think it's better to ward bot side and hug bot side, but honestly, I just think you need to kind of place a ward now, because you're like half HP midway up in the lane. If Rek'Sai comes and flashes on you, you just die, pretty much. And like, especially this. If you're walking this far up in the lane with no vision and half HP, you're just asking to die to Rek'Sai. So yeah, a good habit is to try find where jungle starts at level 1. And then the next thing is to try ward at 2 minutes 30. Ideally on the opposite side of where the jungle started. I talk about that a lot in my jungle tracking video, but if you don't understand that, feel free to ask me. Okay, yeah, so does this guy not have flash? How do you live this? Like, you should just... I think here you should probably die. Okay, well, I mean, you got away with it, but you can see what I mean, right? Like, I think you're very far up in the lane, you don't have that ward anywhere, so you don't really have a side to hug to. Like, a lot of the time when you're playing mid, you really want to be hugging towards one of the sides. Like, you either want to ward top side and then kind of play to this side of the lane, or, you know, ward bot side and play to the bot side of the lane. But just playing in the middle of the lane, that doesn't really keep you safe from anything. It just kind of makes it dangerous to be anywhere. So, yeah, you got away with that, which was lucky, very lucky, because that would have been a pretty horrible death. Yeah, you know Rek'Sai's going bot side again, and the wave's on your side, so you can probably be safe. There's a chance you get dived, but I feel like it's kind of low. So you're probably fine. And Zoe's going to base, so you're actually in a... You've actually managed to get yourself a good position, even though you probably shouldn't have. Okay, so also most of the time you do 2 points E at level 3 rather than a point in W. So like this point in W only ever ends up being useful if Rek'Sai ganks you, but you shouldn't get ganked by Rek'Sai unless you make a mistake. I feel like anyway. So I would 2 points E here, especially because Zoe's so low. Like you can just poke her out of lane if you have 2 points in E, and then you can put that point in W at level 3. Like when you get ganked like this, even though you didn't use W, it's actually kind of lucky that you have W skill, but I think it's just much better to do 2 points in E and then not really worry about it. This, if you didn't E these 2 creeps, I think you might have been able to push this wave. Like if you wait for it to group up and you E it now, and you could still E here, right? Yeah, I feel like you can crush this wave in time. So I don't think you should be staying in this lane too long because like one is going to be pushed up in the lane and she's going to be able to freeze it and you won't have base, which makes you vulnerable to ganks and stuff. So I would probably like, yeah, I'd probably just try and nuke this wave and reset as soon as you can. If it's like this, it's kind of, yeah, it's pretty scary because you're basically just hoping that you don't get ganked here. And once again, you have 2 wards. If you ever go past this like halfway point in mid, like this place here, and you don't have a ward down, it's really scary, honestly. So try getting in the habit of placing a ward if you go past the halfway point of mid. Okay, yeah, this is kind of to be expected. Okay, so Rek'Sai ends up below you. He didn't need to flash there, so that was really weird. W, but I think you're probably dead. Have to flash. Oh my god. Okay, so honestly, the outcome is pretty good, I think, given the situation you were in. But I think like this here, this is like a really big problem. So if your opponent's basing like this, you either want to match base with them, or ideally, you know, you push a wave and then you base yourself. Yeah, if you slow push this like this, it's gonna mean you have to TP at least, and like maybe you could have saved your TP otherwise. And also, yeah, it's just like really risky from the point of view that like one, if a skirmish happens, Zoe's gonna have more HP and more items than you, and also yeah, you're just really gankable to the jungle. So this is, yeah, it's like actually a reasonable outcome, but it should be really bad for you. Okay, so here you went, where'd you go? Time mana crystal refillable. Okay, so I don't really like the base in my mind. I think tier second or like Seraph second is really good on Viktor nowadays. If you don't want to build that, I still think you probably wouldn't build these items. So let's see. Basically, I would say let's go to Runeson's items. I think first base, like Darksteel first base is really OP because Darksteel just scales really, really well and it's already efficient when you buy it. So I think here it's like you either like Darksteel plus Amptome, that could be a thing. Or if you want to go to the tier build, then you Darksteel plus tier here. I like the refillable though. I think that's good. Also, if you can buy a pink, that would be good. Yeah, so you have enough gold here to buy a pink. I think pinks are kind of overrated. But having a pink when you don't have flash is really nice because it just gives you more and more vision. And here, maybe it's not a huge issue because you have 2 wards anyway and you just haven't placed them. But like normally I would be thinking about buying a pink when I don't have flash, especially because it's going to be, yeah, really scary. Okay. Yeah, so you have points in E now. Still haven't got a ward down. I think right now, like, you need to be trying to look for an opportunity to get the ward. Like, either push this wave and then ward, or just, like, go and drop a ward now. Because you've had 2 wards up the entire game, and it's 5 minutes. So right now, you just, like, haven't used them at all. Good poke, though. Okay, if the wave is... Yeah, if you keep the wave here, it's not as necessary to ward. So, yeah, I don't mind not warding at this point too much. But if you ever decide to walk up in the lane, like, yeah, okay, doing this, okay, you actually end up seeing Rek'Sai on this top ward, but to be honest, like, just this split second here, when you don't see Rek'Sai, you're level 6 versus level 4, right? So it feels like you should punish, and I agree, like, you're way stronger, you can be really aggressive, but the problem is, you are just hoping that Rek'Sai isn't here, and if she is, you're gonna die. And so she ends up showing top right now, but you didn't know that. So I want you to be able to do stuff like this, and so I think the way to do it is just like, when you get an opportunity, try put a ward in the river. Like, let me actually get up Rift Kit. So I can kind of show you. So like your ideal wards, if you have time, your ideal ward is to like pink here and ward here, or do the same on bot side, like pink there and like maybe like ward here or something. That like is your ideal ward if you have a pink and you have lots of time. If you don't have a pink, it's sort of hard to move your wards further up because that means you can still get ganked by people like going around this way or like through there or something. So if you don't have a pink and all you have is yellow wards, you probably want to ward like either there or here still. Those are good wards. Now, if you don't have time, like if you really want to be on the wave and you just don't have time, most people will ward this bush, but this bush is really bad. Don't ward that bush. So literally take the extra like half second towards slightly outside the bush. Same on this side, like don't ward in the bush, ward slightly outside, because it just gives you so much more vision than the ward being in this bush. So yeah, I think you really need to think about placing wards. I'll actually just add it to the notes here. I think, yeah, so like warding, like try place ward if you go past like if you go up to like halfway point of mid, I would say. And also try not to let your wards stack to 2. And another thing, 1 pink for early game is really good. And also, if you have time, this is a lot of stuff, sorry. If you have time, deeper wards are better, I would say. Okay. So yeah, let's go back to when you were level 6. You were zoning her off the wave. I think, honestly, you could probably alter here. Maybe W and alter. And you would, if you don't kill her, you get pretty damn close. Like, I think, yeah, W plus R, she's going to lose a lot of health for that. And then you can probably just poke her out under tower. Also, again, you have a lot of opportunity here to ward. So right now, your cooldowns are down. You could probably just last hit that creep and quickly maybe just ward up here. Like, just right up there. If like you really don't want to spend any time doing anything other than just like annihilating your opponent, you still can drop some like really shallow wards and they can be decent. Like again, this one, okay, this one's not so bad because you see Rek'Sai top, but I get the feeling that you will like, yeah, I actually think you said it in one of your notes, like you don't think about the jungler, and I can see that. You just smork, which is good. Like it's better to be aggressive than not be aggressive, but at the same time, the best is to do like smart aggression, you know, calculated aggression. Okay, wanted to, wait, what was the note? I missed the note. Okay, wanted to force her out of lane because I wanted to further your XP lead, but she, disappeared. She's still 5, it's kind of messed up your recalls. You don't have enough mana slash time to push the wave in and end up losing away. Oh, I hit the mic, sorry about that. I probably broke your ears. Yeah, so I honestly think that's fine. I'm pretty sure you should. So like, normally you want to freeze, right? Like, and that's what you've been doing. It keeps you safe from the jungle ganks. It allows you to harass her. But when she gets so low like this that she's like forced to base, or if she stays under tower, you can just poke her out with like a couple E's. You might as well start pushing. So like right now, you can just start ordering the wave and start looking to push it to her. Yeah, it's pretty obvious she's gonna base or like be under her tower here. So this ends up going, yeah, it doesn't quite go all the way in, which sort of sucks, but honestly, it's still probably going to crash. Yeah, so that, like, kind of fixes it. You base. Yeah, honestly, I think that's just, like, kind of going to happen. So, I think the main problem was that you realized too late that you need to push. Basically, it's just like, yeah, when your opponent is so low that they can't stay in lane anymore, you can either base right now. So, you could literally just walk into the bush and base, and then the wave will stay frozen. Or, you have to start pushing straight away. So, like, you know, if you start pushing now, you definitely get it under in time. And also, I feel like you don't use the E's very well. So, like, okay, at this point, right, you've committed to pushing. So we've got like 2 E's worth of mana. So we wait for them to stack up, probably just E the whole wave. So we want to put it on cooldown early, right? Because like right now, the mana and cooldown isn't doing anything. So like the E isn't being used at all. So you end up using E at the end to last hit, but it only hits 2 creeps, and also because you used it so late, the cooldown's not going to be ready again. So just use the cooldown early. Like, yeah, no, you can definitely push this in time. 100%, you can push that in time. And yeah, I think because you made those 2 mistakes of like not pushing earlier and then not using your E, you end up losing a wave. That's just punishment for bad play. But you got decent items, so it's kind of fine. Yeah, once again, no vision. So I like the ward and lane, like what you've got there for seeing just like where Zoe is and stuff like that. But again, to do that, you really need a pink somewhere else or like a ward somewhere else because this is like, what if Rek'Sai just tunnels onto you here? Like you have no idea. If you look at the minimap, both sides of mid, just no vision at all right now. So you're just asking to die pretty much. Okay, yeah, here it comes. Because again, like you're hugging to the middle of the lane. Like you're not able to hug to a specific side because you don't have a ward. So these guys go on you. You have flash. I think you're alive. Yeah, you're fine. Nice. Okay. I mean, it came out pretty well, but you are sort of lucky again that Graves is in the area. So yeah, we definitely got to clean this up because I think definitely once you verse better junglers, you're just gonna die way more than you are right now. Okay, and this honestly is sort of the same thing again. So you see, didn't see Senna until she was already on the bottom of the screen. Could live here if you ran towards Graves. Yeah, probably. Actually, yeah. No, I think this isn't the same thing. I was going to say it's because you're hugging to the middle of the lane, but here, you actually are hugging to top side. You're probably not doing it on purpose, but yeah, I think you're right. If you just keep running Graves, probably good. Yeah. Okay. That death is honestly not too bad. I think the other ones are way more important than that one. Okay, so you're back mid. We're pushing. We still don't have a pink. I really think you should buy at least one pink a game, just so you can get a little bit of vision down. This also is really psychotic, I think. We haven't seen Rek'Sai yet, right? So Rek'Sai died mid and you died mid, but that was like a bit after. Yeah, so once again, it's like you are under the enemy's tower with no flash and no vision whatsoever. You were just asking to die. Like right now, even if Ornn's not here, you probably die to Rek'Sai if you keep hitting this. So you need to find an opportunity here to ward. Like either ward their raptors or just like ward the river like we were showing before. Because this is really bad. So you said, yeah, you even admitted. So you said, what do you say? I think you die here the moment, if the moment Ornn, even if you ran the moment Ornn showing up in your screen, you're not even thinking about the possibility of enemy jungle being near mid. What happens in that scenario? Okay, yeah. So pretty much it's just exactly what we were talking about. It's it honestly has, yeah, it has nothing to do with Ornn, in my opinion. It's literally just whenever you push past this halfway point of mid, so like where you are right now, you need to look at your map and be like, okay, where is my safety? And if you look at your map right now, look at the bot river and look at the top river, you're maybe slightly safer topside because that's where Graves is, but realistically, you don't have enough vision to just like walk up and hit the tower. Even with flash, I think you still die. So yeah, we really got to fix this kind of. I feel like it's not so much having awareness of where the jungle is as it is you just don't have any awareness of like where your vision is or where your safety is. And a lot of the time, I think because you don't have awareness of that, you just like don't even place the vision, you know, because you don't even realize that you're unsafe. Now you swap to blue trinket again. I don't think this is very good. So blue trinket is really good after 20 minutes for checking Baron. But before 20 minutes, you pretty much want to stay on yellow so that you can side lane with wards, so that you can play your lane with wards. Swapping to blue trinket this early, it doesn't really help you with anything. In fact, it just pretty much makes you vulnerable. Okay, so Zoe's top and Rek'Sai's bot. So right here, you can actually play pretty much however you want. Yeah, I think you could take a play here. You probably need to just walk away, though, afterwards. Yeah, okay, so, like, you have, like, a window here of where Rek'Sai's bot and Zoe's top. So you can get this plate, but now you need to leave. Like, you need to leave right now. Because once again, it's like, you know, Rek'Sai is definitely coming mid from bot side, and Zoe is definitely coming mid from top side, so you definitely can't overstay here. And I think you can get that plate and get out. In fact, are you out? No, you end up like in the middle of the base. Okay, at least you execute, but you see what I mean, right? It's like the same thing over and over. And you might be like, I don't know, annoyed about that, I guess, but it's actually really good to have the same mistake coming up over and over again because that means when you fix it, it's going to affect the game all the time. You know what I mean? It's like if this happens to you every game, then suddenly we clean that up and every game you play just looks so much better. So it's kind of a good problem to have. At least you're consistent. I'll say that. Okay, come back mid. Yeah, once again, no wards. I don't really need to keep bringing it up. Yeah, so this time, I think Zoe's top. We still don't know where Rek'Sai is. It's a little bit different if you're versus like a farming jungle. Like if you're versus something like, I don't know. What's like a farming jungle? like, I don't know, like a Sedge or something. You could actually no, Sedge is more of a ganking jungle these days. But anyway, if you verse something like Rek'Sai is really fucking strong at ganking, right? Like that is a scary champ. If you verse something that's a bit weaker, you could maybe do that, but it's just a bad habit, I think, to be consistently like walking that far up in mid without any vision. But yeah, you're doing a good job of punishing the fact there's always top. So this is good. Like yeah, like you were saying, you get back a lot of gold, chunk Rek'Sai out. It's looking good. Okay, this guy comes back mid, but you get good harass. Ooh, that's pretty low. Yeah, honestly, I feel like we haven't even, because, you know, looking back at the notes of taking for the laning phase, I feel like a lot of the time, or at least for this game, I didn't really even get to see your laning phase because you're just permanently, like, dead to the jungler. Or, like, pushing so far up that you should be dead to the jungler. So, I think if you do get another one, we'll probably be able to look a bit more at your 1v1 laning. Because this game, other than that very early part, you've pretty much just been... Yeah, you haven't really laned since then, I feel like. It's TP bot. Looks kind of good. These guys are pretty pushed up. I don't know why that guy is diving, but... Anyway, that's pretty nice. You get kills. Maybe you swap here, or maybe you go mid. Okay, you go mid. Okay, so this is... Do we see Rek'Sai? I don't think we do. I really think you need to start thinking about this a lot. Like, here again, you're entering... If Zoe and Rek'Sai are in this bush, you just die. So, here, what you probably want to do is go with your jungler to get the wards, and then come back to mid, rather than just like, okay, one bush face checked, potentially second bush face checked. You see Zoe top now, but I think, again, you would have face checked it probably without it, so... Yeah, I don't know. I think it's not I feel like it's not even so much about where the jungler is as it opposed to just like where the danger is. You know, like you're consistently walking into areas with no vision or, you know, away from your wards, or you just like don't have any wards or whatever. So good kill there. Yeah, Zoe is just trolling, so you're getting tons of gold, which is great. I mean, like, yeah, this is good punish. And honestly, I think if you didn't start the game 0-4, you would just 1v9 this game. But you start the game 0-4, so you're just very behind where you should be, right? 2.8k, that's a lot of gold. Okay, got the Shattered Flame. Okay, yeah, you are insanely strong, even despite all the inting. Okay. So no Rek'Sai to drag. Nice. Okay, you guys are doing Herald. This all looks good. I don't think you have to do anything special here. Maybe you could push mid and take Raptors. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think this is all good. There's not really anything else for you to do. So I like this. Looking up here is good as well. Yeah, like this is all good play, and I think you're playing the team fight reasonably well, like good kiting. I would be a little careful about doing this. Yeah, okay, so I don't really like that. I think, okay, so when you're team fighting as Viktor, there's like three things you're going to think about. So let's go, we're like in, well, let's just make team fighting a separate thing. So the things you're thinking about, target priority, threats, and probably positioning. Like those are the things. So target priority, like who's the most important targets to kill? Normally it's going to be their mid and AD. This game though, I could see it being the Rek'Sai just because she does a lot of damage and she's really squishy. Anyway, you just want to basically try not to hit tanks unless you can't hit anyone else, basically, right? Like if you can hit someone else, hit them instead. Next thing is threats. So this is like normally it's going to be CC. So CC or just like big damage. So the things in this fight would probably be like Varus ult, Ornar, Rek'Sai knockup, or just like someone that's really fed, right? The last thing, positioning. So you want to be like behind your team most of the time because you're a control mage. Like the longer you live, the more damage you deal, and if you don't get killed, you will 1v9 the fight, right? So at the start of this fight, okay, you have got, let me just go back so I can get the notes off my screen. You have got a bunch of teammates in front of you. Like this is really good. They've just used like a bunch of cooldowns and you're just hitting for free. So right now, this is amazing. At this point though, Jones gone back and Graves is leaving. So you walk back. Like this is really good. But now this is really troll. Now your teammates have backed off, so you don't have anyone in front of you anymore, and you're hitting the tank. You're like trying to kill the Ornn, and even if you kill Ornn, like Varus is still left alive to do damage to you, right? So yeah, I really, really don't like that. I think if you do this, you should probably kill Varus, even though he's full HP. Um, or maybe even just go on Senna here. I feel like hitting Ornn is kind of the wrong target because even if you kill Ornn, all the damage is still alive. But I also think you probably just should walk back to mid here because, yeah, I just don't think you guys really want to chase in here anymore. So that was that you actually played the start of the team fight really well. Like, I think this was honestly pretty nice team fighting, like good kiting back. That was really good. But this was, yeah, this was like a colossal throw kind of thing. And I want you to realize like how bad that is. It's like right here, you're following like all the good team fighting principles. You can see the fight's going really well for you. You've like gotten a kill, you're full HP. And then here you like throw them all out the window and you just like instantly die. So yeah, you get pretty hard punished for that. Okay, going Rabadon's third. I like that. So you TP'd back on the map, which I think is, yeah, it's probably fine. This is maybe not too fine. So what happened here? So, so Senna got really low. You decided to TP top to help Graves. Okay, this all makes sense. Senna flashes. You kind of want to look for Senna. Okay, so I see kind of what you're doing. I think here, again, it's just not really what you should be doing right now. Like, I think Senna's out. And also, once again, look at the map. You were going very deep in this jungle with your Ezreal on midwave, your Janna in the top river, your Yone not even, like, on the map, and Graves is dead. So you were, like, moving very far up on the map with literally no one to help you. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, you just like kind of end up walking up and dying. But for me, this isn't even the problem. The problem is this is not really your turn to play aggressive. Like right now, you need to be chilling, waiting for like Janna to place wards, waiting for Yone to get pressure on the map, and waiting for Graves to respawn. This is like not the time to do this, especially because like you're playing Viktor. It's the enemy team that's on the clock, not you. Like you will just win this game if it goes longer. But the more deaths you give like this, it's like the more chances you give to the enemy team to come back and win. Okay, so walking bot without TP is probably fine, honestly. Yeah, like I don't think they can do it. Rek'Sai's bot. That's fine. Okay, so you come walk mid. Yeah, I like all this. I think pushing bot here with Graves top would be scary. So I like coming mid. I think this is like reasonably good macro. Really good flank. Yeah, I like all this. This is all good, I think. I think you should probably start with W here, though. So, like... Or you can maybe start with E for the slow, but I think I'd like E, W, and then R, maybe? Yeah, I feel like the combo is, like, sort of weird. Ends up being a kill, though, so that's good. I think you flash in this guy. Yeah, nice. Good W as well. I don't know what that guy is up to, but he's dead. Very nice. Yeah, okay, so you're really trying to farm Rabadons. That makes sense. Stay on the map just a little bit longer. You got Rabadons here. Okay, you're massively fed. You've had, I think, you've been reasonably efficient around the side lanes. Like, you have got quite a bit of farm. So, I am happy with that. Okay, coming bots. I think you're probably here a bit too late, and I don't think you want to enter this fight, really. Okay, I mean, you got a free kill. I'm down for that. Yeah, okay, I guess, like, if you can get this free kill and get out, that's great. Just be a little careful here again, because, like, Graves is recalling and Yone's basing. But yeah, if you can snipe a kill like that, that's great. Because that makes it harder for them just to do this, although they probably will still do it. I think you're fine, maybe? Close. Okay, so, say, probably a bad call to do this. Check and drag with each chance you dying for free heavily outweighs the chance of you doing anything. I mean, I honestly don't hate it. I think if you are doing this, though, you probably need to kite more towards your team. So, like, your team is coming from base here, so you probably need to be ready to kite towards them, like, go down, like, that way. So, like, poke them over this wall, kite Rek'Sai back, or just wait, like, a tiny bit longer for them to be on the map. I think walking this way is really bad, and also, the W usage is bad, too. Like, Rek'Sai has Prowler's Claw, so you just have to place it on yourself. if you place on yourself and Rek'Sai just waits it out, that gives you the time to do damage to them anyway. So, like, yeah, maybe it's greedy to do this, but I think, okay, just as like a general aside, when you like evaluate decisions, there's like two parts of decisions. There's like, so the actual decision itself and the execution, and both of these are like 50% of it, right? So a lot of the time, if you have like a really good decision, if you execute it badly, it's not going to work out. And likewise, if you make bad decisions and have really good execution, sometimes it works. So whenever you see something like this and it doesn't work out, try and evaluate both. Like here, you evaluated the decision of like, you know, I probably shouldn't be here, but you also need to evaluate the execution, which is like, okay, there's quite a lot of stuff you can do here better. You can look to run down to your team. Maybe you wait like a couple more seconds for your teammates to be closer. I think you can use your W better. Let's see, is there anything else? Like, I think, yeah, maybe kite away from the center so you don't get hit by the thing. To anything else? No, I don't think you could have done anything else better. But that's like 4 or 5 things that you could have done better there, right? So make sure you think about execution as well. It's pretty important. Obviously, like the best players are good at both. But you can be quite a good player only being good at one. Like if you have really good decisions, I mean, that just makes the execution easier. And if you have really good execution, you can make a lot of bad decisions work. But yeah, obviously the end goal is to get good at both. So this looks good. You get nice harass on this guy. He stays in the thing. It's nice. You have Zonya, so you can be quite aggressive here, doing whatever you want. Get the Baron. Reset. Okay, we come back bot, but we don't have TP. Should be fine, though. Yeah, that's not the best. Okay, yeah, no, I don't think that's a big problem. You're back on the map in time anyway. Okay, this is maybe scary. Yeah, I think the way you path to this fight again is pretty bad. So remember that when you get to this fight, you want to be behind your team. But the way you're going to end up in this fight is like behind the enemy team. And I think this is like, well, do you know anyone else is not here? Like, let me go back. Okay, so base, you see Ornn, Jenna sweeps, see Zoe bot, Ornn enters. You're like, here, I don't think you have enough information to walk this way. I think it's better to walk the safe way, because like, in theory, if no one's showing on Yone top, then they should be here. And like, you should be walking into a Rek'Sai or something right now. If they're not here, I guess they're just like farming the jungle or something. Okay, yeah, so you actually did get pretty hard punished for this. You ended up using flash and stopwatch. I think also... Yeah, no, I actually think you played it fairly well. Yeah, you got a flash straight away. Yeah, okay. So like this is an example of, I think, bad decision, but you had good execution. And you are able to get out. So at least that worked. But I think it was pretty fucking scary the way you walked there. Okay. The game looks pretty over. I'm surprised this game goes on for another 10 minutes. You guys are sieging. Okay, so yeah, I think this is kind of, well, what do I think? Part of it is that you lost so much health before. Yeah, there. I think this is kind of like maybe a bit of camera control, honestly. I don't often say that, but it feels like here, like you can't even see the Varus and Zoe that are hitting you. So that's kind of a problem. Do you play lock screen? I didn't even like notice. No, you don't play lock screen. So I think that is like honestly really weird, because I think that's like the first time I've felt like in a coaching session like camera placement has been kind of a big thing. But yeah, that's pretty bad, because you can't really see them at all. So that might be something for you to work on. But given, oh wait, maybe you do play. Oh, okay? You play a mix of locked and unlocked. So I think the fact that it only came up like once in this game means it probably doesn't come up that often, and I would prefer that you work on like the other things on the list first, but it might be something you think about eventually. But right now it shouldn't be a high priority. Okay, so starting this again, yeah, I actually don't mind this. You have Zonya's. Yeah, I think this is fine. Even if you die, this is like not too bad. Yeah, okay, so I think probably the better play here is to just, again, wait a bit longer for your teammates and maybe kite towards Ezreal at the start. Like, maybe rather than walking in front here of this rock, go, like, around it towards Ezreal. But I don't think this is too bad. Like, you get a 1-for-1, you also get Ornalt, Rek'Sai Prowler's Claw. So it's not the worst. Yeah, honestly, it's not too bad. But I think you can still do it better. Like, I don't think you need to die for this. But as far as deaths go, it's not too bad. Oh, your team actually lost that? Oh no, your team won that. Okay. They managed to defend, so you come back on the map, and now you should... Do you need Void? I didn't see if they had MR or not, but it might have been a Void stuff angle. Maybe just for Ornn. Oh, Ornn only has 70 MR. Okay, you probably don't need Void if he's the only one with Magic Resist. What is this? Oh, she actually got out. Yeah, I think this is fine. Like, all their cooldowns have been used, so at this point you probably can just, like, run at them if you want. Like, you have Zhonya's for this too. Okay, so yeah, I think this was kind of... So I think that any threats they have left, you can just Zhonya. But if you're not confident in Zonyaing it, then you need to stay further behind your team here. I also think the W usage, again, was pretty bad. Like, you should know by now that Wing the Rek'Sai is kind of useless. You need to W yourself. And, like, even if you don't Zonya here, like, let's say you fuck everything else up. If you W yourself and it stuns these two, like, your team probably just kills them. In fact, they might just kill them anyway. So, yeah, I think W usage... I don't know. It's hard to say because I think Rek'Sai is definitely a unique case, but I think it's something you should think about. Again, it's probably not as important as the other things on this list, but I've seen, yeah, quite a few, like, pretty meh Ws, I feel like. Okay, got the guy's flash. Yeah, that was good target priority. I like that. You ignored the Ornn and just flashed in the center, so I think that's nice. Good kiting as well. I think kiting up here is maybe not the best. Like, I'd try kite with your team. Obviously, like, you don't want to get hit by the Ornn ult, but I think even if you do, it probably puts you in a better spot. Yeah, like, now you're really split, and it's really hard to team fight. Now, yeah, now you kind of just got to leave. So, not a huge fan of the way you played it at the end, but I think the start was, like, not too bad. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty fine. I don't think they can end. Good poke. Okay, you are going Void. Yeah, I mean, I think it's fine. The only other option really is like Lich Bane or something. Oh, they have a Wit's End on Varus. Okay. Yeah, no, this is good. It's a good Void stuff. Okay, they got Mountain Souls. That's, yeah, another reason for Void stuff. Okay, you've got it. Alright, so you're level 18 with full build, so you should definitely be able to carry a fight. You can execute well. I think they do kind of outrange your comp though. Like, it's not the easiest comp to play against late game. Okay, good poke. Okay, nothing really happening. Defending this, yeah, I think as long as you be careful of Ornn, you should be safe. Like, that's the main threat to you, I think. You have Zhonya here if you need it. Okay, you're fine still. Okay, yeah, really good target priority there. Yeah, honestly, I think this fight is, like, not too bad. You haven't really, like, gone too far in front of your team. Now they've used everything, so you can kind of do whatever you want. TP top. Can you guys end? Yeah, I think you can, right? Maybe not quite. Let's see. Hmm. Okay. Yeah. So now you got a base again. Wow, it's a wild game. Hopefully they don't Baron. Yeah, no, okay. Don't know why Yon TP'd bot. What happened to you? Oh wow, you just got like one shot. Yeah, I'd be pretty surprised. I don't really blame you too much for this death. I think you could probably Zonya reactionarily. Is that a word? I don't know. But yeah, I'd be quite surprised for Zoe to be here, so. But honestly, it's not the worst. Like, I think, yeah, you guys probably still get Baron, to be honest. And also, the reason I don't focus on deaths so much at this point in the game is because it's like, okay, this is a death that you have at 40 minutes, and it only affects time past 40 minutes, right? Whereas a death you have at 3 minutes affects the entire rest of the game from like 3 minutes till 40 minutes or whenever, right? So early deaths are, I think, easier to or more important to fix, even if they might seem less impactful some of the time. Because you can definitely like have a fight at 40 minutes, die, and then instantly lose the game. But a lot of the time, it's sort of like what happened up to that point. So let's see. TB flank here, I think, again, is fine. So a lot of cooldowns have been used. Like Ornn's low. Rek'Sai's already like gone in. So I think this is fine. Like you have a pretty decent flank here, and they don't really have anything left. So I don't mind flanking when everything is gone. I just think starting the fight from behind, or yeah, starting the fight flanking when they have everything is scary. But okay, I guess that's the game over. Are there any other notes I missed? Oh, there was like some. Oh, okay. You're probably talking about the Zonya's time. I didn't see that comment, but it's fine. Okay. So what would I say? Let's talk about like what to work on. So I think biggest things I'd say team fight positioning. I think is a pretty big one. I think yeah, just trying to more consistently play from behind your teammates is really really good. I think a little bit of itemization just with the early buy and the starting item. I think the rest of your build was honestly pretty good. But yeah, I think the start was kind of weird. I think in the laning phase, maybe like, yeah, punishing cooldowns is a big thing. I think the warding and hugging though, that's massive. In fact, I'm gonna put that at the top because I think that is the like your number one thing. Just like placing wards and hugging to the side you have safety on. I think that is super important. Also like buying a pink, I think that's really important as well. Yeah, pretty much everything to do with this, honestly, like warding deeper, warding in better spots, trying to keep yourself like safer and stuff. So yeah, the thing is, these are like not many different things to work on, but all of these are pretty big. You know, like punishing cooldowns, that's like a giant fundamental. Same with like warding, hugging. Team fight positioning, I think is not too difficult to fix. Um, and yeah, I think actually like even though these are big fundamentals, they're relatively simple to fix. So I actually think you can improve quite a lot in a pretty short time here. But yeah, I'd be like focusing on this. I would recommend, I know it's like kind of cringe to self-plug, but I think watching my warding and jungle tracking guide would help you a lot with that because a lot of the rules and stuff I talk about in there, I think are really easy to implement and can probably help you. But anyway, I'll copy this to you, and if you have any questions about it, just let me know. And also tell me if you mind the video being public or not. Otherwise, I'll just keep it private. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions.